The end arrived, not with a bang, but with a whisper. A hollow, desolate whisper from the woman I had built my life with for over a decade. I need freedom. Those 3 words shattered my world, yet in the aftermath, they became the catalyst for a transformation neither of us could have foreseen. It was a journey into a new reality, where I discovered my own freedom, and she learned the crushing weight of hers. Emily and I had been a partnership, a seamless team of 12 years. Our marriage of 10 years felt like a fortress, built on mutual respect, shared dreams, and a comfortable predictability. A nice home, stable careers, and annual vacations were the pillars of our lives. I believed our foundation was rock solid, impervious to the trivialities that seemed to plague other relationships. Then came her girls' weekend, a weekend that seemed to bleed the color out of her. She returned distant, aloof, and every question I asked was met with the cold finality of a closed door. I attributed it to exhaustion, but the truth was more sinister. A week later, the words I never thought I'd hear were spoken. "I don't know if I want to be married anymore." Her eyes, once a familiar comfort, now darted around the room, avoiding mine. "I feel trapped," she continued. "I need space to figure out who I am." I was blindsided. Trapped by what? I had never controlled her, never limited her social life or career. I had been her biggest advocate, her staunchest supporter. Her words made no sense, and in my desperation, I grasped at straws, suggesting counseling or a separation, anything to fix what was so clearly breaking. But her mind was made up. She didn't want a solution. She wanted an escape. I foolishly gave her what she wanted. The temporary separation she requested began as a series of infrequent calls and short texts. But soon, the communication dwindled, and the silence became a deafening presence in our once shared home. The reality of my new existence hit me like a physical blow one night while out with friends. From across a dimly lit bar, I saw her, a carefree laugh spilling from her lips as a stranger's arm rested possessively on her shoulders. She wasn't just finding herself. She had already found someone else. The sight of her leaning into him, the intimacy in his touch, a casual familiarity that once belonged exclusively to me, seared itself into my memory. In that moment, I knew this wasn't about space or finding herself. This was about a betrayal that ran deeper than I could have ever imagined. I left that bar with a cold fury, a shift inside me that was both terrifying and liberating. If she wanted freedom, she would have it in spades. I was done being the wounded husband. It was time to become the man she would regret leaving. The reckoning. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. The heartache was gone, replaced by a steely resolve. The time for grieving was over. The time for action had begun. My first call was to my lawyer. "File the papers," I said, my voice firm. "I want this over now." He was taken aback by my urgency, but he didn't question it. I didn't have to explain. With that first step, I began purging my life of all things Emily. Not with sadness, but with purpose. Photos, gifts, her favorite coffee mug, every relic of our life together was boxed up and sent to storage. The house, once a testament to our shared history, began to feel like my own again. Lighter. A place for me. I started focusing on myself for the first time in years. I joined a gym, updated my wardrobe, and started reconnecting with old friends. It wasn't about revenge, it was about reclaiming my life. My transformation wasn't lost on others. At a charity event for an animal shelter, a face from my past materialized, a woman named Sophie, a college friend I hadn't seen in years. We fell into an easy, effortless conversation that lasted for hours. The familiar spark was still there, but now it was a gentle, mature warmth. For the first time since Emily left, I felt alive, and as I moved forward, Emily was about to learn just how much she had lost. Life doesn't wait for those who want to figure things out. The universe has a way of showing you that once a door is closed, it's often locked for good. The fallout. The moment she saw me with Sophie was the moment everything changed for her. It was a Saturday evening at a new, trendy rooftop restaurant, the kind of place Emily used to love. The city lights glittered around us as Sophie and I laughed over cocktails. Suddenly, I felt a familiar presence. Emily was there, just a few tables away, her date a forgettable blur in my periphery. Her eyes, wide with shock, locked on mine. In that split second, I saw it all. The regret, the horror, the dawning realization that I wasn't the man she had left behind. I wasn't broken. I was happy. And I had moved on. I turned back to Sophie, deliberately, unapologetically. Emily's stare was a palpable weight, but I ignored it. Her own laughter with her date sounded forced, brittle. I knew she was faking it. When Sophie went to the restroom, Emily made her move. She approached my table, feigning a casual surprise. "Hey," she said, her voice laced with an insincere cheerfulness. "It's a small world," I replied, my tone deliberately neutral. "Who's your friend?" she asked, her eyes darting to Sophie's empty seat. "Someone who actually appreciates me," I responded, and watched the words land like a punch. Her smile faltered. "You look different," she said, her voice now softer, laced with an almost pathetic vulnerability. "I feel different," I said. "Turns out losing dead weight does wonders for a person." I watched her flinch, a fleeting moment of honesty in her performance. Sophie returned, and I turned my full attention to her, making it clear that my conversation with Emily was over. Emily, defeated, retreated to her table, but her posture had changed. She looked smaller, her confidence shattered. She wasn't thinking about her date. She was thinking about me. And for the first time, I felt absolutely nothing for her. That was the moment I knew I was truly free. The final act. I didn't think about Emily much after that night. Seeing her again provided a strange form of closure, but her desperation lingered. A few weeks later, her name appeared on my phone screen. "Can we talk?" The message was followed by the one I had been expecting. "I think I made a mistake." We met at a neutral coffee shop. The woman who sat across from me was a shadow of her former self. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a hollow desperation. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she stammered. "But everything I thought I wanted, it wasn't real." I listened silently as she confessed to her lonely freedom, to the men who only wanted one thing, to the gnawing realization that she had thrown away the only person who had ever truly loved her. But as she spoke, there was no anger or pity within me, just a cold, detached truth. I had outgrown her. "You don't miss me, Emily," I told her, pulling my hand away as she reached for it. "You miss the security. You miss knowing someone would always be there, but that's gone. You made sure of that." "Can't we just try again?" she pleaded. "No," I said simply. Her face crumpled, the finality of my response hitting her with the full force of reality. The safety net was gone. I stood up, left a few bills on the table, and walked out. "You wanted freedom, Emily? You got it. Now live with it." She came back, of course. First with unanswered texts, then by showing up at my doorstep late one night, her face a mask of smudged mascara and regret. She looked around our home, now my home, as if expecting it to be the same, but it was cleaner, lighter, a space that no longer held her shadow. "I was stupid," she cried. "I thought I needed to be free, but all I did was ruin everything." "I'm not the same person you left," I told her, my voice unwavering. "I spent too long picking up the pieces. You expect me to drop everything and go back?" She knew the answer, and for the first time, she truly accepted it. She left that night, and I thought that was the end. But people like Emily don't give up easily. The silent stalking began. A car parked down the street, headlights off. A coincidental run-in at the grocery store. The final, desperate plea came in the form of a call from her sister, Rachel, who told me Emily was in the hospital after drinking too much, all the while repeating my name. When I arrived at the hospital, I saw her, a ghostly figure in a hospital gown. "You came," she said, her voice shaking. She looked at me, her eyes pleading for a second chance, for a way back to a life she had so carelessly discarded. "You can't go back, Emily," I said, my voice gentle but firm. "There's no fixing this." And in that moment, I knew with a profound certainty that I no longer loved her. The pain, the anger, the longing, it was all gone. There was just peace. As I drove away, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The final chapter was written. The story of our marriage was over. I was finally, truly free. The months that followed were a testament to my new life. My career flourished, and my relationship with Sophie deepened into something profound and real. It was a love built not on broken dreams, but on mutual respect and genuine happiness. One evening, sitting on the balcony of my new apartment, the sunset painting the sky in vibrant hues, Sophie asked, "Do you ever think about what would have happened if she never left?" I thought about the suffocating life I had escaped, the wasted years of trying to make a woman happy who was never satisfied. I smiled and squeezed her hand. I never would have found this. "Then I guess I should thank her," Sophie said with a laugh. "I already have," I replied, in my own way. I leaned in and kissed her, a kiss that sealed the truth of my new reality. By living the life she threw away, I had finally found my own. And that, in the end, was the greatest freedom of all.